Hey, it's Prepper Action, and recently I was training in dynamic shoot and move drills in the desert. Now, while learning a new shooting drill is important, it's also important not to have unforeseen factors affect your training. The factor that I had not factored in was my ammo. I opted for the cheaper steel case ammo, concluding that I could put a lot of shots downrange, increasing my training by mere ammo count. However, that was not the case. I ended up fiddling and dicking around with feed jams, double feeds, misloads, rounds not extracting, you name it. I even had a loaded magazine that would not feed into the mag well, causing me to abort the last half of a shooting drill, as you will see in my helmet cam footage. I have since done some research into steel case ammo, and I will present the facts, the pros and cons of shooting steel case ammo, and how it could get you killed when the shit hits the fan. So stay tuned. So, what is steel case 223 ammo, which is what I was using in this training drill? It consists of a 55 grain bimetal jacketed lead core projectile loaded in a polymer coated steel case. Now, that day I was using tool ammo, or commonly known as Tula, which was a no-go. In terms of functional problems, there were two major issues with Tula: short stroking, which is a failure of the bolt to fully cycle to the rear, and extraction problems. Further research and experimentation indicated that there was likely one factor which contributed to both failure types. And this is the article that I read. I'll provide a link down at the bottom of the comments section if you want to read the full article. What's really important in this case, however, is not the maximum chamber pressure number, but powder burn rate and thus gas port pressure. Whether measured in clean, fouled, new or worn out barrels, Tula exhibited gas port pressures that were 10 to 20% lower than all other ammunition types. Basically, the powder burns too fast, and by the time the bullet has reached the barrel, the pressure drops. The rise time of Tula, defined as in the time of microseconds, for pressure to rise from 25 to 75% of maximum chamber pressure, is 175 milliseconds. In comparison, Federal AE223, depending on temperature, has a rise time of 260 to 300 milliseconds. So this explains the short stroking issues for insufficient gas port pressure for a given gas system length, and port diameter would logically cause insufficient bolt velocity. But what about the failures to extract? Part of the answer to this question is the nature of the case material itself. When heated, steel does not expand and contract the same way that brass does. In fact, brass expands 1.5 times as much as steel. The shape of the 223/5.56 case was designed with brass in the case material. This, plus the fact that steel doesn't expand and, more importantly, contract like brass does, that extraction will be naturally more difficult. So, we know from the rise time and gas port data that the powder does burn too fast for the system. So it is likely that this is a contributing factor to the rate of extraction failures. So, in conclusion, with steel case ammo, I would not purchase any more. I will probably use what I have at the range because I have the luxury of time to dick around with misfeeds and what have you. In a shit hits the fan situation, if you're using this cheap ammo, this cheap steel case ammo, that could get you killed because, quite frankly, it's not going to feed well. You want something that's going to feed fast and it's going to feed slick and quickly. So if you're messing around with a feed jam in a shit hit the fan situation and you're under fire, guess what? You are dead. So on that lighter note, this is Prepper Action out, and train and be safe.